everybody, so Mitchell is joining me here on my couch for part 2 of our video series.
It's like On the Couch with Katie, where you talk about stuff and have a good old time. I like that. I was kind of just like moving to the beat. I think that's the song right there. You made it.
We're going.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
So this is my second sesh, Doc.
Get comfortable.
Let me lay back and tell you all my problems.
I don't know.
Ready, real proper. Actually, here we go. This is where the edit actually starts, and boom.
Hey everybody, I am joined by the wonderful and amazing Mitchell Davis.
Hello.
So Mitchell has a YouTube channel where you do all sorts of wonderful things. I personally like it because it's very cinematic. I enjoy how you edit things. I know that sounds really weird. But I also really like his Snapchat reviews.
I'm kind of all over the internet. I like to think of the internet as a giant canvas. I have a YouTube channel called Live Lava Live where I make sketches and art and funny, and sometimes I make you think.
And so today Mitchell's going to share a little bit about his own story with mental health. And so the way that I like to start off Katie's Couch, as you know, is just asking my wonderful guest what their thoughts are about mental health, or when you first were aware of that term.
When was I aware of mental health? Probably not till later on in my life. Honestly, I just didn't know anything about mental health. I just kind of was like, you're the weird art kid in the family. Like, that was as mental health as it got. You know what I mean? Yeah, where it was just like, everyone was just like, yeah, that's Mitchell.
Awesome.
That's what we got. I think I didn't really learn about it until I started doing research myself once I got a computer in my room. And I was
started computers.
Ooh, yeah, I was like, let me find out, let me search a few of these feelings I got and see if anybody else has them, what they're called, some synonyms. And that's when I started to really find out that what was going on inside my head.
Yeah, and I always say to my viewers who are younger, I'm like, you're so lucky. If we'd had the internet when we were younger, like all those things as a teen that give you so much angst, and you're like, what? Why? I'm so weird. What's going on? To know that you're not would be so helpful at a young age.
There's like a hashtag now that you can click with that angsty feeling, and then you see a whole plethora of people who feel the same way. I wish that was a thing. Like when I was in high school, if there was a way for me to have looked that up in my pocket, I honestly, I don't know if I would have turned to YouTube the way that I did, though, to be totally honest.
Yeah, because it was a way to express yourself and to get it out, almost like journaling, but through video.
And it was also a way to connect with people that I was kind of dealing with agoraphobia. I was thinking like, I might never meet you any other way.
Yeah.
So this is kind
it's
of
hard to get out of the house. That's the premise of it.
Yeah, so like this is my main outlet this is my window to the world.
Yeah.
That's a safey kind of place. Yeah, early YouTube was not about being a YouTuber at all. It was all about just like, I'm alone a lot in my room.
So with regard to medication, I hear from a lot of my viewers that medication can feel very stigmatizing, and they're really reluctant to try it, or it's taking forever and I'm so frustrated.
First off, I'm pro-medication. I
Me
take
too.
medication. Medication, I truly believe, saved this vessel of a man to go outside. I thank medication every day. Thank you, medication. Medication is why I'm here, living in LA right now, making a collab.
Living by himself.
Yeah.
Came out on his own to do his thing.
It's crazy. I think the stigma of it taking too long is such a hard debate, especially because I get, when I go to conferences, people come up to me and they ask me all the time, like, what am I taking? Because what I'm taking isn't working, and this is why I always have a rule. I don't ever tell anyone what medicines I actually take, because everybody's bodies is different. And it took me a long time to get acclimated to the medicine I'm on now, like 3 years.
Yeah.
And the first 2 pills that I took destroyed my stomach. One of them had me bedridden for like a month because my stomach was just destroyed.
You can't leave if you've got explosive diarrhea.
No, she said it. I didn't, but that's exactly what was going on. And the other one, it kind of just like zombied me out. And as long as you keep an open conversation with your doctor, that's what I always say, communication.
Yes.
Do not be afraid to tell them everything that's going on when you put that little pill in your mouth. Because it matters. It matters. Even if it's just the smallest little headache or something, make sure it's supposed to be what's going on.
Yes, because there are a lot of actually scary, not to mention like debilitating, but there's a lot of scary side effects that can essentially like do more harm than good, and it's important for them to know. So if you know your body best.
Exactly. And also, you're the only one who's feeling it. Oh, this is hard. How do you do this? How do you talk about this?
You just go with it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important, even if you feel like you're recovered, to still keep talking. That's really important, because things can change and stressors can come up, and it's important to keep the communication open so that if something does change, you need more medication or less medication or more sessions with your therapist. They're there for you and they kind of know what's going on. Don't feel like you have to be recovered and then you can never take a few steps back.
That was the segue I was trying to make. Even since I've moved here to LA, I've actually changed medicines.
Yeah.
Just because it's gone down a little bit, because I'm starting to learn to manage my stuff without some medicine. All those crazy, I'm going to say it, stupid, weird, cheesy breathing exercises that they tell you to do, and all those weird exercises that your therapist says to do that you go home and go, that's not going to work. They actually kind of work. They actually do.
We don't just do that for shits and giggles.
Just a little bit. And honestly, when you start to really kind of hone in and make it more personal and work directly for you, and you really figure out what bits and pieces of the world are affecting you, you can really start to control things in a way that makes it so that, you don't need to take that pill anymore, because you can do it on your own. I don't know. It's one thing I always say too is don't be afraid to be afraid, because the human body, you're supposed to feel fear and scared every once in a while.
Yeah, that keeps you alive sometimes.
Exactly. And that also keeps you just very human and very like, when you go to a scary movie, you don't want to be the one person not jumping because you're like, my medicine actually makes it so that I'm not scared at all.
Way too intense. That's called blunted. Like when you can't cry, you can't be scared, you can't feel, you don't feel like yourself.
I would say you're zombied out.
But that's a perfect description. But we call it like blunted. And so you can say that sometimes if you don't feel your doctor's hearing you, you can say, I'm really blunted. Mm-hmm. Like that's what's happening. And then that might be like, and then they'll lower your dose.
I just learned that.
Ding. When did you know that you really needed to see someone? Was there like a pivotal moment?
Yes, there was. There was a direct moment that happened. I had a windstorm in Ohio about 2 months into my first year of college.
Oh, wow.
And all the power went out for about 2 weeks, and about a weekend, the rest of the world went back to normal, even though they didn't have power. And I couldn't, because I realized that I couldn't do my ritual beginning of the day thing. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of trapped myself in bed. And it was the moment when everyone realized, like, all the little things Mitchell's doing, they're not just, that's not just him being him. That's like, this is something we actually need to help him deal with.
Yeah.
And, it was the worst and best day, I think, because it helped me start the process, but it was also just like the day where I felt it. I felt it for the first time, where I was like, whoa.
Where you can't function.
Yeah, like, where I didn't think that it had a hold of me as heavy as it did, until it was like, I don't know. I just couldn't, I couldn't turn on the light, and I couldn't make my bed, and I couldn't do the right things the same way that I wanted to, and it started to turn into more of like a agoraphobia, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and I was having panic attacks. Mm-hmm. A lot of panic attacks when I was leaving the house, and I wouldn't eat at restaurants for some reason. It was just, I was starting to get fearful of going outside, and just
slowly starts closing your circle.
Yeah, until eventually I was just kind of in my room making YouTube videos, and it's like a period when I made the video when I came into existence. A lot of the shots are through the window in my room, and I actually am like outside, like checking. I don't know. It's like that. I watched that video, and I always say, like, that's the day. That's the me when I started going to the doctor and was like trying to get better, when I came into existence. When I realized, like, ooh, this is the person that I'm starting to know.
Yeah, this is who I'm becoming, and
yeah, who's not like completely afraid all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize what you're missing, maybe, or what.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, I didn't need to realize what I was missing. I knew what I was missing. But at the same time, I was going to the doctor at the time, and I don't know, it was just like a weird fuel where I would make a video, they would watch it, I would have make a little bit of money, and then I'd spend it all on the doctor.
Yeah.
And then eventually,
getting your needs met.
Yeah, that's what I did though. Yeah, that's why I always say like my YouTube channel like changed my life, not as like a cheesy cliche thing, but
No, but it literally did.
literally paid for this like fancy doctor in Ohio to make it so that I can be.
Ta-da.
Yeah, I mean,
Hooray.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't have any money now. By the way, when I say rituals, I don't mean just like, you probably can help me say this better. Where, you know how some people, they're going to be like, oh, I know, I have tics too. I always put my coat in the same place, my keys in the same place. That's a little different.
It's a lot different.
Mine would go to the point where it's like if my pillows didn't look right, I had to throw them out of the house. Or like, I just...
The compulsion to make things feel right, and oftentimes we can't even describe what is right, we just know.
Yes, okay, that is what I'm trying to say, is it's just like, it was a feeling more than it was the way that it looked. It was even now, I just like talking about it, it's like, I can see it.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like a personal thing, and so each person will have their own way of things being right. Like, it's not that I could do something exactly as he told me and he would like it and think it's perfect. It's like, it just has to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so...
And it's never standard. It's never like I get that there's like routines. That's the word. Routine versus ritual is what I'm trying to say, is that routines are fine. I mean, I have a routine, like you're saying, in the shower. Yeah. But it's like, these were rituals that I just couldn't break.
No. And if you don't do them, you can't do anything.
Or you can't go to the next step.
Or you can't, yes, it's all in a certain order and it has to happen that way. Or we feel usually like our anxiety rises as if something bad's going to happen.
Yes. And that's like a really weird area too, because you're just thinking like something bad might happen. Something bad is happening because I'm already thinking about it. It's this weird vicious circle.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh man, it's weird talking about this because like 19-year-old me is just listening hard right now.
Like, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
That was really hard.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a younger you then, since you've done all of this work and we had that pivotal moment, which was not that late in life, but essentially you were already in college.
Yeah, and that's actually why I left college, is because I realized it was kind of a decisioning point. It was a pivotal point where it was like, do I want to continue growing my mind as the businessman, or do I want to kind of make sure that all the health is right first before I continue? And that was a really big decision that I had to make.
I'm proud of you.
It was hard. I
tell them to do that.
I had to sit down with my dean and was just like, look, I'm leaving because it's not that I want to, it's that I feel like I have to. And
did they have a good response?
Actually, one of the teachers actually was just telling. She pulled me aside and was just like, my brother had agoraphobia and didn't get any. He never did anything. He just pushed through it, and he's 40 now, and we can't get him to leave his house. And she was just like, it just seemed like every year it layered and got thicker. And she's like, true. It's really good that you're taking initiative to stop it now. And I remember that being like, yeah, I'm making the right decision. And it was definitely hard. It was a conversation that I had to have with my family, being like, I'm pulling myself out of school, not because I'm crazy, but because I want to make sure that everything's good. Yeah. And I don't want to progress and put all this stuff on top of this bad
like already
base.
Your foundation is already
when it's already a little
shaky.
And that was just like that was such a choice. That was hard.
I'm proud of you, because I tell them all the time, I'm like, you don't realize how many options you have until you give yourself the freedom to choose.
Yes. And even looking back, I'm like, wow, I could have done it so much earlier too in life too. It was just crazy. So I would say younger me, I would just say take the initiative and talk about it. I would tell young me to just talk about things a lot more out loud and see if other people are feeling or understand at all. Because I bet I wasn't alone in Ohio.
Oh, not at all.
And well,
your teacher said my brother, so there's one, and that was just once removed from you.
That's true. I would say definitely discuss it and discuss it with the right people.
Yes.
Boom. What I would tell younger me is to make the first doctor's appointment. Just go ahead and do it. Make the first therapist appointment and actually talk. Really spill your beans, because you find out so much about yourself. That is what I would say. That's my final answer. Boom. Yes, because that, I remember the first time that I went to the doctor, it was eye-opening, because that was one of the hardest appointments of my life to make. And then as soon as I made it and realized how good it felt to get to talk and realized, like, whoa, he knew and I knew and we made a connection, and that's awesome. And yeah, changed my life from then. And I talked to him for like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
He was great.
Yeah. It's never as scary as you think it is, the first appointment. There's so much buildup, and we're like, oh my God. And then you get there and you're like, oh, well, I guess they're just here to listen and like help me.
Exactly. Look, first appointment, gave me one of the best breathing exercises of my life.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, we talked about this, where it was like, I was too afraid to go into the back of the building, into his office. I just thought, for some reason, my head was like, that's too deep into the building. It's not safe. I know. Mm-hmm. But he was awesome, and he came into the waiting room and asked everyone who was in the waiting room to go to his office. We kind of switched, because there was like a few people. It doesn't matter. And he had me, I was just sobbing, and because I was freaking out because I was so far away from my own house. And he just had me close my eyes and recreate the room and say it out loud. And I did, and I thought it was so silly. I just thought, why is this man making me do this? I am freaking out. And then he was just like, okay, all the things you named, what thing is going to hurt you in here? And I just had like this moment where because I had built the room so detailed in my head. Because he's like, I know you know everything in here because you're
hyper vigilant.
You're hyper. Yeah. You're so overstimulated. You've seen everything. You can describe the paintings on the walls, and you have. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, so it shows me that you know what's in here without even looking around. So what's to fear? Mm-hmm. And it was just the way he said it. This is the way it all worked out. I still do it to this day, where I'll close my eyes and kind of think about what's around me and be like, yeah,
this is gonna hurt me.
I can eat in here. Who cares?
So helpful.
Oh, I loved it. Such a good exercise. Rebuilding in your own mind and realizing that none of it is actually fearful at all. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's such a good one.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all
I'm done?
That's it.
That's the whole session?
That's it.
I don't get to lay on the couch or anything?
You can lay on the couch if you want.
I mean, I thought we were going to dig deep into my world. No, I had a great time. This is great. I've been wanting to make a video talking about this for a long time.
And thanks for coming back. This is our second time.
This is a reshoot.
I messed up the first.
We messed up the first. It was a collective mess up. We thought the camera was rolling.
And it was not. Well, for a portion.
Yes.
And then we started again because it went to sleep.
So does this mean that technically this is our second collab?
Yeah.
So I'm a returning guest, even though I never had my first episode.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I hope that this video helps you a little bit. Do you say that? That's something
Yes, always.
Perfect. I hope that this, if you've ever wondered what was going on inside my brain a little bit, I hope this gives you a little bit of a chisel.
And if you want us to do more, give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments.
Oh yeah. Let me come back for a third time.
Yeah, we're in focus. Okay, cool.
You know what? I love just going for it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I will start recording, make sure, and I'm gonna flip it so we can see. Well, it still has, because it has the last 30 minutes, right?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, you're recording already.
Well, how come it's going down, right?
Yeah, you're recording.
Yeah.
Everybody's body's different. Everybody's body's different. Everybody's body's different.
Seriously, don't you dare. I'm so okay now, Katie! That's some digital gossip!